So some of these songs they're very difficult, and we're not so familiar because we only sing them once a year. So we always, by the time we remember the tunes, then it's time to stop, and then by the time the next year comes around. So we're following these recordings of some of our devotees in Salt Lake City. They're very expert. Okay, so now we're moving to Srimad Bhagavad-gita. We are on starting chapter 6.
I have the understanding that we don't sing 7B and 7C.
Oh, I thought it was 8.
No, it's the 7B and 7C.
We recited.
No, that we are not supposed to sing them.
I thought it was 8B that we don't sing.
7B, 7C, and 7AB.
I don't know, I think in Navadvip we would sing. We wouldn't sing 8B, definitely. The others I'm not sure.
Maybe you could check that.
Yeah, I seem to remember that with 7C we would not sing the first two, the very beginning of the song, but the rest we would sing. That's what I remember, but we can check that. Okay, so now we're going to move to Srimad Bhagavad-gita. And we are beginning chapter 6. Dhyana Yoga, the path of meditation. So we are going to hear our Gurudev as we have been. Okay. Oh, we're here, right? Yeah. Jai Shri.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. षष्ठोध्याय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता ध्यान योग श्री भगवान उवाच अनाश्रित कर्म फलं कार्यं कर्म करोति यः सन्न्यासी च योगी च न निरग्निर्न चाक्रिया.
Okay. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Anashrita Karma Phalam Karyam Karma Karoti yah Sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnya na chakriya.
The Supreme Lord said, know a genuine. Sorry, can you make it a little bit bigger?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Know a genuine sannyasi and yogi as one who, without expectation of the fruits of his actions, performs his duties as prescribed by the scriptures. One is not a sannyasi merely by renouncing the performance of the fire sacrifice and other prescribed duties, and one is not a yogi merely by becoming physically inactive.
जंग संन्यासमिति प्राहुर्योगं तं विद्धि पांडव नष्ट संकल्पो योगी भवति कश्चन.
Yam sannyasam iti prahur yogam tam vidhi pandava nahya sannyasta sankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana.
O Arjuna, that which is known as sannyasa, complete renunciation, you should know to be yoga, since without renouncing fruitive desire, no one can be a yogi.
And we can also draw from this, who is a real sannyasi, not just someone who is externally wearing some dress, but they are truly detached from any material aspiration, attainment of this world. And we saw that sometimes Gurudev and also I think Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada also, they would sometimes use that word sannyas, like they would advise someone to take sannyas, and not meaning that they should literally go through the formality and wear the dress, but meaning they should become exclusive. Whatever, dress or, social order they're within, to, whether they're in family life or not, but to become exclusive in their mood. That is real sannyas. It is not a matter of dress and lifestyle. So verse number 3. Is that big enough? It's okay. Should I go a little bigger?
No, that's fine.
It's okay.
Arudukho mune yogam karma karanamuchyate yogarudasya tasyaiva samakaranamuchyate.
Adaduksho muner yogam karma karanam uchyate yogarudasya tasyaiva shama karanam uchyate.
For the yoga practitioner desirous of attaining steady yoga meditation, action is said to be the means. When he has achieved yoga meditation, renunciation of all action is said to be the means of remaining in meditation.
Very nice.
Rahi mendriyartheshu na karma sanusajjate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yogarudhastaduchyate.
Yadahi nendriyarteshu na karmas anusajate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yogarudhastaduchyate.
When the yoga practitioner does not become attached to the objects of the senses and to any action in pursuit of their enjoyment and renounces all sorts of enjoyment, then he is said to have attained to yoga.
Okay, now this is very famous verse, verse 5, and so many times quoted by our gurus.
Uddharir atmanatmanam atmanam avasadai atmaiva atmano bandhu atmaiva ripuratmana.
Uddharir atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayat atmaiva hyatmano bandhur atmaiva ripur atmana.
Number 5, yeah?
Yeah.
One must elevate himself by the mind, not degrade himself by the mind. For the mind is sometimes the friend of the living being, and in another situation, that very mind is his enemy.
Very useful verse. No? And the mind, we have to use the mind like a tool. No? The mind is actually, the mental sphere is actually a material element. But since we have it, we can use it in our favor. Otherwise, it will become our enemy. The mind is very, its nature is to be very caught up in the duality of this world. And its main function, as Srila Sridhar Maharaj has explained, is to accept or reject. The mind is mainly dealing like this: I like it or I don't like it. You know, the senses, they're collecting, you know, the eyes, the sense of sight, of hearing, of taste, touch, etc. They're collecting information from the environment, they're depositing it in the mind. So the mind is like the seat of all sense experience, and then the mind is telling us, I like it or I don't like it. Dislike or like you see on Facebook or many social media platforms. And now it's in Facebook. It's like, I don't know if it was always like that, because I've only just started using it, but there's like so many variations. You have to like decide, do you just like it or do you love it? And then there's so many other, things that you can decide as well. But at least, what I don't like about YouTube is there's the dislike option. It is very unfriendly.
They did have that.
That you can't explain. It's just if they don't like the taste, that's it, you know. And not only with children, many of us, we may have some health problem, and we're not supposed to take some particular thing or do some particular thing, but we can't stop because we have this addiction, you know. So you see, anyone who has an addiction, or persons who are like seriously overweight, they're doing things because their mind says, I like it, and they can't stop, they can't control their mind. So we have to actually train our mind. We have to train the mind to say, this is good and this is bad. So it's like we have to, your mind like has these like different patterns that it's accustomed to. So you have to like retrain it. Like vegetables means healthy. Healthy is good. You know, deep fried is bad. High cholesterol, this is bad. So you have to like just use your mind, just like use it like this tool and like train it, like program it. You have to reprogram your mind, you know. This is going to be like also the example is given of like, you know, puppy dogs. You know, puppy dogs, they can just be totally wild and out of control, running all over the place. But if you train them properly, they can be very useful. They can become like these sniffer dogs, you know, who are like highly trained, highly skilled. So our mind is like that, you know. We have to use it so that it becomes our friend. So it's on our side.
No, it's very interesting. Bhagavad Maharaj translated this shloka slightly longer. I can try to translate.
Sure.
It says, by renouncing your mind from the objects of senses, the living entity frees itself from the dark well of illusion. But it's a very sad future of the one who creates and stares in his mind on the sense objects. Because of that, the future is sad because he draws himself down to the darkest sides of creation, so to say. And then he says, for one mind is a friend, for another is the enemy. So like, not to like imagine something and dwell on it, like maybe it can be some plan or something, not to be very much attached to the mind. It's interesting.
Yeah, another interesting thing about the mind is it becomes attached to like repeated things or habits. So if you like reprogram your mind to do things in a particular way, it can become very attached to that. Even if it's something that's not very comfortable, you know, like to get up at a particular time, your mind becomes attached to that idea, you know. Or even like you find this strange phenomena where prisoners who have been held captive by someone, they become attached to that person. You know, the mind is a very, very funny thing, you know. So like, you know, like you see persons, like if from their childhood they've been accustomed to some particular habit, you know, even if it's not like so pleasing to their senses, it's hard for them to break that. It's like you're attached to that habit, you know. So that is another thing. If we like know that, we can use that in our favor, you know. You have some particular bad habit that your mind's become attached to that, so you just have to like break it. The interim period will be difficult, you know, when you're making that transition. But once you've made that transition, your mind will become attached to that thing, you know. It's a funny thing, the mind. So when we have some understanding of how it works, you know, then we can use it in our favor. It's like, you know, if you become accustomed to waking up at a particular time, you know, waking up early. In the beginning, maybe you're accustomed to waking up at 9 o'clock, and that your mind is attached to that, But if you make that effort, try and wake up earlier, then soon your mind will become attached to that as well, and then you can't do any other thing, And many things are like that. So we have to use it in our favor. And as I said, this verse, quoted so much by our gurus, this is definitely one on the memorization list. Okay, so verse number 6.
Bandhuratmatmanastasya jenaivatmatmanajita anatmanastu satrute vattatatmaiva satruvat.
Bandhuratmatmanastasya yenaivatmatmanajitaha anatmanastu satrutve varte tatmaiva satruvat. I think it's my turn. For one who has conquered the mind, his mind is his friend. For one unable to control the mind, his mind works against him like an enemy. And when we have this is called Sambandha Gyan. This is Sambandha Gyan we've been talking about. Sambandha Gyan means knowing what is what. How everything's working, what is the real nature of things. So when we have this type of knowledge, which our gurus refer to as Sambandha Gyan, it's so helpful, because then when random stuff comes through our head, we can understand, this is not me, this is my mind. And my mind is not who I really am. Who I really am goes beyond this. And I have to use I do not want to let myself become a slave of my mind. I don't want to serve my mind. Rather, my mind should serve me. That there's this, general idea of freedom within the world. But what people call freedom, that is actually slavery to your senses and mind, So, freedom of the senses or freedom from the senses, We want to be free from the mind, not that our mind will be free to control us. We have to understand that we are not the mind, we are higher than the mind. So the mind must support us and help us like a tool. Verse number 7.
Itatmana prasantasya paramatma samahita shitoshna sukha dukkheshu tatha mana pamanayo.
Jitatmana prashantasya paramatma samahitaha sitoshna sukha dukkheshu tatha mana pamanayo.
The yogi who has conquered the mind remains deeply absorbed in yogic trance, peaceful and undisturbed by cold and heat, happiness and unhappiness, or honor and dishonor.
Jnano vikyara triptatma kutastho vijitendriya yukta itucchate yogi samalostasma kanchana.
Jnana vijnana triptatma kutashto vijitendriya yukta ityucchate yogi samalostasma kanchana.
One who is always satisfied within by both knowledge and realization, who is always fixed in his spiritual nature, who is sense-controlled and who has a vision of equality for a clod of earth, a rock, or gold, it is said that such a person has attained yoga.
Surin mitrar judasinam madhastadesya bandhushu sadhusvapi chapapeshu samabuddhir vishishyate.
Surin mitrari udasina madhyasta dresha bandhushu sadushwapi cha papeshu samabuddhir vishishyate.
Such an eminent yogi has the vision of equality towards all, a well-wisher, a friend, an enemy, an indifferent person, a mediator, a hateful person, a relative, a saint, and a sinner.
So they have no individual ego. They don't have these filters of selfish interest. Generally we're viewing the environment according to how it affects us personally. So someone's our friend if they do something that is good for us, and someone's our enemy if they do something that irritates us. So our vision is very clouded. But the true yogi, they have this neutral. They're not calculating things in terms of their own interest and their own loss or gain. This is a real yogi.
Yogi jumgita satata matmanam rahasi sthita ekaki jata chittatma nirashira parigraha.
Yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi sthitaha ekaki yata chittatma nirashir api parigraha.
The yogi should constantly concentrate his mind while remaining alone in a solitary place, his mind and body controlled, free from desire and acquisition. What acquisition is?
To acquire things,
Free from what you want to get, or what you want to have.
Acquire, free from acquire.
Sucho deshi pratishthatva sthirama sanamatmana nattu sritam nati nicham Chilajina Kusuttaram Tat
Shucho deshe pratishtapya stiram asanam atmanah nati chitam nati nicham chilajina kushotaram. 12 is together.
Trikadrangamana kritva Jato chitrendriya kriya upavishasane yunjad yogamatma visuddhai.
Tachaika grammana kritva yata chitendriya kriyaha upavishyasane yunjad yogam atma vishuddhaye. In a clean place, not too high and not too low, the yogi should establish a firm seat of kusha grass, deerskin and cloth. Then, sitting on that seat, subjugating all mental and sensual activity, with one pointed concentration, he should practice meditational trance in order to purify his heart. Okay, so we are on 13 and 14.
Samankaya shiru grivam dharayan achalam sthira sampreksha nasikagram shang dishaschana balukayan prasantatma vigatavi et brahmachari vratistita manas sanjanma machittu Yukta yasita matpara.
Samam kaya shiro grivam darayan achalam sridaha sampriksha nasikagram son dishas chana valo kayan prashantatma vigata vir brahmachari rate stitaha manasam yam yamachchito yukta asita matpadaha.
Soberly keeping his body, head and neck straight and upright, poised, the yogi should fix his gaze at one point, as though between the eyes, without casting a glance in any direction. Tranquil, fearless and reposed in the bow of celibacy, he should meditate on me as four-armed Vishnu, and devoting himself to me, he should thus practice yoga.
I think my battery just ran out. So we're in 15, right? Let me see if this is working.
Junjanevang sadatmanang yogi niyatamanasa shanti nirvana paramang mat samsthamudhigacchati.
Sorry. Anyway. Yunjanevam sadatmanam yogi niyatamanasa shantim nirvana paramam mat samstam adhigacchati.
In this way, constantly absorbing his mind in meditation, dhyana yoga, the yogi who has ceased,
stopped,
hankering for material enjoyment, achieves the peace of liberation from mundanity, the peace which abides in me, in my Brahman effulgence.
Natastu yogosti na chaikanta manasnataha na chati sapnasilasya jagratu naiva charjuna.
Natyashnatastu yogosti na chaikantam anashnataha na chati swapnashilasya jagrato naiva charjuna. This is a very helpful verse.
O Arjuna, yoga cannot be practiced by one who overeats, undereats, oversleeps, or undersleeps.
So yoga is very much about balance. We have to find that middle ground, that middle path. Too much this way is not helpful, too much that way is not helpful. But just what is needed, and not more and not less. That is what we all have to find. It's very important, and that is something especially when you're consciously entering into some regulated practicing life, you really experience that. You notice the difference. If you wake up later than usual, or maybe you wake up too early, then you really notice it. Your consciousness is in a different place. Or if you eat too much, it also, I think we all experience it, like dulls your consciousness when you eat too much, it really dulls you. And then at the same time, if you don't eat enough, then you're not fit, you don't have clarity. So this balance is very important. This body, we have to see this body and our minds and our senses as like a tool that we can use to facilitate our spiritual practice and development. So we're not trying to feed our body, we're trying to take care of our body so we can use it like a vehicle, like a tool to practice spiritual life. So, balance, regulated practicing life. And that is individual. Every person is individual. Everyone has individual needs and health condition and nature and so on and so. So everyone has to find that personal balance, what works for them. And continuing with that theme, we have verse 17.
Yuktahara viharasya yukta chishtasya karmasu yukta sapna babodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha.
Yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu Yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Very useful also.
For a person who eats, relaxes, and works in a regulated way, and who keeps regular hours in proper measure, his practice of yoga dispels all his suffering.
So again, regulated lifestyle and everything done in proper measure. Eating and sleeping, your activity. And this regulated lifestyle, it's very helpful because when you have like too much craziness in your life and like your schedule's always changing, then your mind is like going along with so much on the superficial plane. But when you have some regulation, every day you do this at this time and this thing at that time, then you can go deeper. Your mind is not always absorbed on the surface of things, caught up with all the activity in the material sphere. But what's going on the surface, that's just going on as usual, and you can go to some deeper level within consciousness. So this, regulation, because we're not, I hope what I'm saying is clear. What I mean is like when there's too much stimuli within the material environment, it's a distraction. But when you have some like balanced and regulated lifestyle and like a regular schedule, then it's like there's not so much stimuli for the mind and the senses and the body, and you can go to some deeper level within your consciousness.
When there's that routine, it's almost like your mind and a certain extent your body's on autopilot so that it's free to go down.
Perfect. Yeah, perfectly said. Yeah, you're like on the superficial level, you're on autopilot, so you can go deeper on a spiritual level. Yeah, I can say for myself, it's really tough sometimes when I have like a very intense travel schedule, because I'm like, moving here, moving there, sleeping in this place, the next day sleeping in that place, and I feel my mind is just like spinning out, and it's difficult, it's very difficult. But when you're in a more, environment like this, where every day you're doing the same thing, then your mind like cools down, there's not so much excitement on the outer plane. Of course, eventually we have to get to such a level of advancement where we can deal with any situation and our mind is not disturbed. However, we're not in such an advanced state, so as much as possible, it's helpful that we try to, follow what's being advised here. And our Gurudev, he really set that example. Every day he would be up, like 3:30 in the morning, he would wake up every day. And he wasn't affected by jet lag. Yeah. So even when he would travel, except in his very last years, he mentioned, now I'm starting to know what people are talking about, this jet lag. This is like when he's in his 70s, but for 20 years he never had jet lag. Every day he would get, wherever he was, he'd wake up the same time, and very regulated. Breakfast, certain time. He would have a certain time when he'd rest in the day, and very, very regulated, showing us that example. Okay, so we are in 18.
Jada viniyatang chittam atmannevavatisthate Nispriya sarva kame bhujuktai tukchate tada.
Yada viniyatam chittam atmanyeva vachishtate nispriha sarva kamebhyo yukta ichuchate tada. I think it's my turn. Is it my turn? Yes. When a yogi withdraws the mind from mundane thoughts and centers it unwaveringly in the self, then, free from mundane desires, he is said to be actually situated in yoga, or linked with the Absolute.
Dipo Nivatastho Ningate Sopamasmrita Yogino Jatashitasya Junjato Yogamatmanaha.
Yata dipo nivatasto ningate sopamasmrita yogino yata chittasya yunjato yogam atmanaha.
It is said, as a lamp flame situated in a windless place does not waver, similarly, the mind of a yogi absorbed in the self never flickers in its concentration.
Very nice analogy. And we also saw that. I mean, I'm always thinking of our Gurudev when, you know, these verses, because it's like a reference point for me. Because our Gurudev, he had that type of fixed mind. And I mean, like before he made a decision, he would be very cautious and he would consider like so many different points. But once he made the decision, that was it, you know, not like at least with myself, it's like your mind is always like jumping this way, that way, and then umming and awing, go, maybe I should do this or maybe not, and then you do it and you think, oh, I shouldn't have done it like that, you know, you're going backwards, forwards, this way, that way. And actually once one of our Gurudev's servants, I don't remember the details exactly, the circumstances, but one of his servants suggested to him, oh Gurudev, maybe you changed your mind about that. And he said very strong, I never change my mind. You know, once I've made a decision, you know, that's it, you know. It reminds me of this, you know. Unflickering mind. Oh, what did I do?
Jatru paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra jaivatmanatmanam pasyanatmani tushyati.
Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya Yachar chaivatmanatmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. Oh, I'm going to go to 23 here.
Sukhamattantikam yattat buddhi gracham atindriyam vetti yatra na chaivayam sita chalati tattata yangalabdhava Chaparang labhang mannati nadikang tata jasmin sthito nadukkhena gurunapi vichallate tang viddhad dukkha sanyoga viyogang yoga sangitam sa nischayena yuktebhyo yogorirvinna cetasa.
Okay, so we'll finish with these 3 verses here. Sukham atyantikam yattad buddhi grajam atindriyam veti yatra nachaivayam stitas chalati tattvataha yam labdva shaparam labham manyate nadikam tataha yasmin stito nadukena gurunapi vishalyate tam vidya dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga samgitam Sa nischayena yuktavyo yogo nirvina cetasa. Okay, Shama Sundri Devidasi can read this.
The mind controlled by yoga practice is tranquil, pacified by detachment from mundane association. The yogi remains satisfied in the Lord alone, directly seeing the Supersoul through his purified consciousness. In his spiritual enlightenment, he tastes transcendental eternal bliss. He never deviates from the reality. He considers that there is no greater gain in this world. He is undisturbed by even the worst suffering. Know that the attainment of such a state, in which all association with unhappiness is severed, is called yoga. Yoga must be practiced with perseverance and a heart that is never discouraged.
Jai! Very nice. Very nice. And this is very encouraging because it is going to be difficult, right? Yoga must be practiced with perseverance and a heart that is never discouraged. This verse, 22, Yam labdva shapram, we've heard Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he's quoted this a few times, saying that one who attains this, they will feel that there is nothing else to be attained. If you can get some touch of this thing, you will feel there's nothing higher, there's nothing else I could possibly want. Because, you know, our nature in this world, we experience with material things. We want them, but then when we get them, we're not satisfied. You want something else, right? It's like you see with the Apple iPhones, right? They're playing on this. These companies, they're playing on this. Because you get one, and then they come up with a new upgrade, and then there's a new one, and then there's a new one. And then nobody's ever satisfied. They always have to have the latest and greatest, right? So whatever we get in this world, it's never enough. You're never satisfied. But one who can get something of that plane, if they get a touch of that, they will feel, wow, there's nothing else. There's nothing else to be gotten. And even if they with this connection, they cannot be disturbed by anything, even the worst suffering. They are so fixed in this higher sphere. Yes. This means very nice. Very nice. He never deviates from the reality. He considers there is no greater gain in this world. He is undisturbed by even the worst suffering. Because they're no longer identifying with this. Our problem is misidentification. That is our only problem. Why do we experience suffering? Because we are identifying with this mortal, temporary, perishable body, paraphernalia, etc. But one who has realized they are beyond that, and they're identifying with the soul plane and the super soul plane, they are not affected by the body is actually very remote to us, to our real existence as soul. Okay, well, we can stop there maybe for tonight. Does anyone have any comment or question or anything? Okay, we'll continue next week. Jai Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki Jai. Want to lead us in Maha Mantra for a few moments? Play Mridanga.
Jaya Shri Krishna Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Jaya Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Nirmala Charja Maharaj ki Jai. Jaya Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Sundar Mindar Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jaya Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Raksakshi Dardev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jaya Shri Rupanal Guru Varga ki Jai. All the world devotees ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai. Jaya Saprikara Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Giridhari Ji ki Jai. Harinama Sankirtan ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premananda.
Haribo.
Bhagavad-gita.
Camera woman.
Shama Sundari is a yogi, she's not disturbed.
How can you know?
It's just so.
Which chapter is this one?
Chapter 6.
I like that verse. It's nice.
Yeah. Very powerful verse. So let's read it. We use our camera people.